And welcome back to Just Kidding News. Out of the closet, we got Ryan here. He's gay!
I'm out, guys.
Today you were talking about So You Think You Can Dance Season 1, how that changed your life.
Dude, yeah, I think out of everything that's ever happened to me, this would be like the biggest one ever. Me and Eris were going to Cypress Community College, and this one day we saw a bunch of girls, like 50 girls walking to this one like building of the college, and we're like, why are there so many girls going there? So we went over to check.
Eris was like,
yeah, he was.
I'm gonna take down at least 7 of them.
Yeah, we went back there to see what was over there, and it was just like a dance room, and they were taking like choreo classes, and we were like, yo, that's dope. I didn't know there were girls at the school. So then we're so fucking dumb. We like signed up for. I accidentally signed up for every class. I thought I was just signing up for like, I didn't know what dance classes meant, and I was like, oh, I'll take a class, and I signed up, and it meant that was my class for the semester. Like I had like, yeah, I had like 5 units of dance, just like that, like an idiot. And then so when I realized it, I went into the room for my first day, and I was like, oh shit, I'm actually in this course now. And it was like hip hop, modern, and jazz. And the only thing I did is break at this point. Like I don't know what counts are. I don't know like how to even. I've never even attempted choreo of any type. And then the class itself was so hard for me that it was almost like a crash course on how to like get proficient in like dance, basically. We spent the whole semester learning an usher routine from Yeah.
That's cool.
And I was like, I had the hardest time. That was your final, was to perform Yeah. And that shit is still on YouTube. My actual
Is it?
Yeah, because the chick in the class posted it, and she doesn't, I guess she can't get into her account anymore, so it can't be deleted.
Did you fucking rock it though?
No, I fucking look, I don't know, I looked pretty stupid to me, but.
How do you know she can't get in her account? You're like, can you please take this down?
Yeah, hell yeah. So like, so that's how that I ended up like, so originally me and Eris had completely forgot that we joined this for girls because we just wanted to get good at the dances now. And then I started.
That's so hilarious.
I was in modern and jazz. In jazz, like I was like, you know how we were always talking about, like, dude, it sucks to be in a dance class because all the guys are gay. I was like the only, you know, gay guy there.
Out the closet.
You're the only guys.
No, like I was really the only like straight dude. But then it was like, I guess the teachers were so like, what are you doing here? That they wanted to like really help me.
Oh, because they're like, he likes dance.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
no, I wanted a girlfriend.
Yeah, and it's like the teachers that I had during that time like were so important because I think it matters more when you're teaching somebody like me that's like I could quit any day because it's too hard. You know what I mean? I could just not come back tomorrow because it's too hard. I could drop the class, but they made sure that like I learned everything that would keep me there another day. Like every time, and I'm like, dude, that's fucking nuts. Cause like, why do you even give a shit about me? Like, I'm not even. I add nothing to the class. I can't barely do anything. But then they
saw something in you.
Yeah, they were just like, and it wasn't that I was good. It's just that they just happen to be those kinds of teachers that care about somebody liking the subject matter.
This one's a song.
So the jazz teacher was like really good at helping me learn all this stuff. And then just by coincidence, this one night, me and Hawk are just like on AIM or something, like talking shit. And then he's like, oh, dude, I saw this MySpace bulletin, and it said that there's like a dance audition for this new TV show. And we were like, oh, dude, it's probably for Dance 360, which is like the dance show that was on at the time. It was like a stupid show where you go on the TV show and you win an Xbox 360 and $360.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Cool. It's literally, that's the show name.
Yeah, and it was hosted by Kel from like Keenan and Kel.
Oh, I remember.
And that's
honestly, it was kind of tight though because we didn't really have a lot of dance shows.
no, that,
like at a basketball court.
Yeah, this is still
It's like $800.
This is still like 05. There's no dance, really no dance shows. Yeah. Just that one. And so we were like, I think this is Dance 360. Like that's like perfect for me because all you do is you come out and you go, yeah, I'm from Downey. I'm gonna do the spin move, and you do the spin move, and that's it. It's super dumb.
Sold.
So I'm like, let's go out there and like do it. And we're like, oh shit, that fucking audition's at 7 a.m. It's like 2 a.m. when me and Hawk are talking.
Oh shit! So it's like in a few hours.
Yeah, so we're like, and we just had a whole day of like doing shit. So we're like, you want to just like go over to we're like, let's just go over to our friend's house, Richie. And we're like, the 3 of us will go over there and audition and go there by 7 a.m. Whatever. We don't have to sleep. So we just we went over there thinking it was gonna be some like really small thing. The line is like, it's at the Orpheum Theater in downtown, and it's just down the fucking street around the corner, like huge.
Shit.
We still don't know what it is. We line up, and all of this is on YouTube. Like all of our like interviews and everything. We clearly have no clue what we're getting into, and they have different rounds. It'll be like, okay, for round 1, you guys are just gonna take turns soloing. We like went into a room with like 12 people, and each person goes out, does a little, you know, sample of what they do, and then they go back. And then they just keep narrowing it down. It doesn't feel like a TV show yet. It still feels like a casting. And then eventually...
So do they kind of like separate you? Okay, you two go this way.
They just keep on like thinning the herd.
Oh.
Yeah, and then so you just keep doing solos. And then we get to a point where like you start sitting down with the producer. They start talking to you about who you are and like what you're doing here, your background and everything. And then it gets to a point where they start talking about learning choreo. And then that's like, at the time, it's still my worst nightmare because like I can do it, but I'm not like good at it by any means. And I was like, choreo? What the Dance 360 don't have choreo? What the hell is this? And then we realized it's not. We started talking to people, and they're like, oh no, this isn't Dance 360. This is American Dance Idol. And we're like, what the fuck's American Dance Idol?
Do I still want an Xbox?
It's a little wordy.
Yeah, and then I was like, excuse me, is this American Dance Idol? And then the lady's like, the producer's like, no, we don't even have a name yet. Like, that's just what we're calling it because it's the same people that do American Idol. And we were like, what the hell?
For me, I mean, I love partner dancing. I had a really good partner, luckily, and I felt like, whoa, like I gotta dance with this girl because she's really good.
And so my entire like situation going through, I'm like, I had a number, and I think I was like 1900 something. There's like thousands of people here, and by the time we got out of this whole audition process, it was already like, I want to say 3 a.m. the next day.
Oh shit! So you just didn't even sleep? It was just.
Well, I was sleeping in the rooms where you're waiting. Like we were just like, we were finished, and by that time I was signing. I was like, they gave me this fat contract, and they're like, oh, you're gonna move on to like a different like period of casting. They're interested in you and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, the fuck? It's like I think partially it had to do with my story.
Now tell me about your parents. They don't particularly like you dancing, huh?
No, they don't. They don't really know much about that I dance at all. Really, they just want me to do school or get into medical business or anything but dancing, anything but art, mainly.
It's sad, really, because you've got such a light in your eyes when you dance.
Oh, I love dance.
And hopefully they'll recognize that in the next round when you move forward in the competition.
Thank you so much.
Well done, see you later.
And then it hadn't occurred to me until then, because it's not interesting to me until like someone was asking me about it. I was like, yeah, they don't, in Seventh-day Adventist religion, they don't really...
They think it's the devil.
Yeah. And it was just like such a normal thing for me to say. And
you hide it.
Like, excuse me, what? Like, it was so, like, we're so used to saying that shit. So the true matter is that my parents don't know that I do this at all. Like,
and that's good TV because they could be like, we could show that.
Yeah, because I had to keep it a secret my whole life because it's basically like a sin. It's like being, you know, homosexual at fucking in a Mormon church.
Out the closet.
Yeah. So then I'm like, do I want them to find out like this because it's gonna go on TV? But I was like, whatever. I'm probably not gonna make it that far. And then I come back the next day and they basically tell me like, oh, you're one of 100 people that's like in the running to like be on this show. Wow. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. Like, I didn't think that. I thought it was Dance 360. Still telling me. And then am I still
gonna get an Xbox?
Which is why, like, if you look at footage of me throughout this show, I just look like I always don't know what the fuck's happening. And that's because most of us didn't. And I think, like,
what do we get ourselves into?
For people that have worked in TV, or like because you've been on so many sets, you can tell like when it's the first season of something. you're almost working together with production to make everything kind of happen. It doesn't have like a dividing line as much. So the same people that are like,
I don't know what they're making yet.
Yeah. It's very like everyone's kind of working together, and it feels very like community. So it wasn't as like hard on me for being nervous because I was clueless, but they were too. So we eventually get to what's called the top 50. They picked 50 dancers to go live in this hotel. It was the I think the Universal, you know, like by Universal Studios there's like a
the Sheraton.
Hilton, yeah, the Sheraton, yeah. So we all had to live in this place and do the first week of challenges, which is like basically they split us up into like groups of 10, and we take these different classes and they test us like on our proficiency.
By that time, are you on the show now?
Yeah. By that point, I realized like this is the show already. Oh, and back then, So You Think You Can Dance was a lot different. It's not now. It's like a total different show. And this is the height of shows like Survivor, or like really high on drama. So the season that I was on, it's a lot of like shit talking, a lot of like they want you to be embarrassed all the time. They put you in situations where you're gonna like look stupid. Now they're just always trying to make the best dance possible because they want to win an Emmy, get funding, and like fucking kill it. Back then they were just, it was like kind of like trash TV.
Yeah.
Because it's 2005. With
sob stories, right?
Exactly, yeah.
It's like the American Idol. It's literally American Idol.
Yeah, right. And then the host at this time was Lauren, what's her name? That's Jeff Bezos' wife now.
No way.
Jeff Bezos' chick, yeah. Lauren Sanchez, yeah. She was the host at the time. Right. So then we all move into this place, and then there's 50 of us, and they told us like by the end of this week, there's only gonna be 25 of you or whatever, or 20, something like that. All of the most like, I guess, charismatic, loud-speaking people that I thought were gonna be like the ones that made it did not make it, which was like crazy. Because I was one of the more shyer guys. I was like pretty quiet and shit. And I'm like, damn, he always knows what to say. That guy always knows what to say. This girl's so fucking funny and loud. They just didn't pick any of those people, which was like really weird to me. And they picked the other half of people that were more like reserved. It's like my understanding of TV was just like mad off. So then we go to top 24. And then from there they go to top 16. And the top 16 was the final absolute, like this is season 1 cast. And at that point, like I had never done anything official or professional or anything until this show had happened. And that was the first time that like there was like message boards about me and shit. Like there was like forums and like
you people get into the characters.
Yeah,
like vote for you or whatever.
Yeah, you could like read what people thought of you.
Wow.
And I was kind of invisible to the fucking world till then. So it was like a night and day switch of like, holy shit, like people like think they know me and stuff. Like it was really like TV famous back then was like a different beast because you can't quantify it. You just have to fucking experience it.
Next up is Ryan.
My name is Ryan Conferito. I'm 22 years old. Growing up, dance was really non-existent in my life. Not only did my family not approve of dancing, but I came from a religion where dancing was considered wrong. Basically, I learned dance through TV and hoping someone on that show would break. I've always felt like maybe my parents don't support it because they don't think I'm good enough. And they've just never said what these choreographers were saying to me. They were just saying, you know what, there's something special about you and we're gonna keep you. At least by this, you know, my parents can have faith in me and I can do this with confidence. I can be a dancer.
Ryan, have your parents seen the show yet?
Yeah, they've seen it.
And what do they think of you now?
I don't know, they think it's pretty cool.
You go somewhere and everyone's like, and like that's the thing where I was telling you guys a story before where I went to like Saddle Ranch with the cast like in the middle of filming and that guy called me a where he's like, oh, you're on that show. He's like, oh, I didn't know we're breakdancing now. It's just like
so incredible, dude.
Yeah, the shit that happens is like, what the fuck? Like,
it's like a 90s movie.
You go from, I think it's interesting because for me personally, like it literally was going from like nobody notices me really to like people are like asking about me, which is like a trip. And then so top 16, we end up living at this place called the Villas in Hollywood, and it's kind of close to Park La Brea, so it's off of like Wilshire. and that's where we're sequestered during the duration of the show. Oddly enough, that's also where they filmed The Hills. Do you remember that show, The Hills?
Of course, I fucking love The Hills, dude.
So that place they live at,
The Hills is it's just like.
Why?
It's the best.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's the fucking best show.
Yeah, so we're living in this place, and I can't even think now. That's really like that's also the same place that I told you guys that story about that one girl I was dating where we did anal and it was like bad. It was in the middle of that. And it was
dude, you exploded her butt.
Yeah. So yeah, the season goes, and they weren't gonna pay us anything in the beginning. They were like, "Oh, well, you guys are here. You just gotta be here." And then our cast was like upset about that because they're like, "I got like rent to pay. I have to do all this shit." And they were like, "No, there's no money involved. You're just here as a competition." We're like, "But this could take months." So we had like almost like staged like a fucking protest basically. And so they ended up giving us like a weekly pay, which is because of that is the weekly pay that to this day they still give for like people on like dance reality shows and shit. And they give you a shopping list where they'll be like every week, like you just put on a list what you want and it'll just be in your living quarters.
Here's your gay pants budget.
Yeah.
All the sequins in there.
Sequence pants.
You're gonna need that.
And we would like test it to see if they would buy certain things. And we would put like deer antlers and tomato paste, like just to see if they would really do it.
Those poor PAs.
Yeah, it really was. But then like, because then they weren't in the beginning.
Like Xbox.
Yeah, in the beginning they didn't give you anything, and so like people were stealing toilet paper from like other places to like bring it back. Like it was, they weren't even giving you basic things like that. So then throughout the show, it was like the experience for me was not super great dance-wise because I was always so freaked out all the time. Like imagine if you're so new to this thing and then all of a sudden they're like, all right, you're gonna learn fucking Viennese waltz and you've never even heard that word. You know, it's like, and you're gonna do it on TV for everybody. Like it's fucking crazy.
Wow.
That's wild shit.
And the first couple weeks was like pretty good because my first thing was I think it was Mambo was my first piece I had to learn.
That was a crazy routine.
That's the one where your hair slicked back.
Yeah. So I've never done anything close to like just the first time ever. And they were just like, yo, I think it'd be really cool if like, because I had really spiky hair back then, and they're like, I think it'd be really cool if you just slicked it back and you just looked so different from your normal self. And then so I did that. I remember when I walked out at the taping to like do this piece, I just saw like in the crowd was like so many of my old friends had like come, and it was like fucking dope. So many people in the dance scene, like a lot of people from the teams that we grew up with were all out there, and my fucking old neighbor from like where I grew up, like all these people that I knew, I didn't even tell them. They just like found out and they showed up to this taping, and it was like, it's like, you know, when you think like at the end of Big Fish when it's all the people that fucking he was like telling stories about. It felt like that. It's like, damn, all the people from my life like that meant something I was just going whoa, it's fucking crazy. Yeah, and then it just got so progressively fucking harder that like eventually I got smoked, and I went home like top fucking 10 or some shit. But it was like.
The Poison solo.
Oh yeah. I think doing solos was the only thing that I was really confident at.
He was like on. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like one of his like last elimination. Like you were in the bottom, whatever. So you got to do a solo to save your life type shit. And then it was just one of those iconic, like this fool hit everything in a way that we had never seen. He was always doing these back head springs where he would jump back and just hit his head and then fall over onto his legs. It was back head. This fool jumps back and just sticks it, and he's like looking at the camera, just like. I remember screaming.
The risk like element of back then was like crazy because it's like everything I did at the time, if something was off by a little bit, it would be a horrible like accident basically.
But so you calculate it perfectly.
I just got lucky, and so like after the show and everything, it was like a trip because now I got to like basically when you're eliminated, but you can't go out in public yet because they haven't yet told the public that you're off.
I just want to say that thank you to everyone who voted for me, and I'm glad you guys like what I do. And you made the right choice, America, because I mean, Man, Jamal's my best friend on the show, and I love this guy, and I'm glad he's gonna be staying.
Yeah, so it's
like
a weird
Survivor where they send you.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a weird experience because they send you to live at a different apartment. I lived at like this fucking apartment in Long Beach, and they send like a security guy with you. Back then, they took this shit really seriously. They like don't care anymore. But back then, they sent like a fucking like a special ops guy that was like just supposed to go with me anywhere, and he would stand on the other side of the door all night.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Boiling crab, that's okay.
Yeah. So we would, like me and my friends, when it's time to go eat, I'd be like, hey, you want to try this place called Thai Barbecue? And like we would fucking go to places just so that guy could experience cool shit.
Oh shit, that's Thai.
Yeah. He's like, you never had beef satay? Yeah. And we just thought it was funny that this fucking crazy like cool buff
just be eating with you guys?
Yeah, we were like, this guy has to go everywhere we go. That's so sick. It just felt like so like a celebrity and shit. But then that's because back then there were so many crazy fans and crazy people that they didn't want to take a risk on like something happening to you, and then that's now the story for the show. Yeah. So then after that, after I got off, I went on like Regis and Cali. I did the fucking weather report in New York on their fucking news. Like they just place you at every fucking possible thing.
Galvin, this guy dances. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
What was Reg like, dude?
Dude, he was fucking great. Yeah, he was great. It's just everything that you do after that is like, it's like another life. It's just like really was night and day. And yeah, I ended up moving into that same apartment that they sequestered us in where they were shooting The Hills. Because the guy there was so cool that he's like, hey, if any of you dancers want to live here afterwards, I'll give you guys a special rate.
That's tight.
So like,
even though it's trash?
No, it's great. It's actually like a really fancy place. 5 of us pulled our stuff together and we moved in there. And they were still filming The Hills, and I would run into the people from The Hills all the time.
You see LC, dude?
Yeah, they just wouldn't talk to us. They would just like be really like.
See Heidi?
Like we would have to use the same laundry room as them. Heidi, yeah, Heidi's pretty.
Heidi after she got the titties, yeah.
Heidi Montag, yeah.
Before pre-titties?
Nah, why?
Yeah.
What were your parents saying about this?
So my parents were like, they were pretty upset that I had even told the producers that was what life was like.
Why did you tell them the truth?
Yeah. They were. My mom. I remember
the whole time. What are you talking about?
Pretty mad. Yeah, she was like, "You're making us look bad," and I was like, "That's the truth, though. Like,
yeah, what are you talking
fucking sucked."
But don't tell them.
Yeah,
I know, but at least embellish it.
Yeah, they were not really happy about that because I guess like that show was so pop. Like that was a top show. Yeah. So at my mom's work, all of the nurses and all the doctors like know about it, and they were all like, they were all asking her like, "Oh, what's?"
That's not that cool because he's talking shit on everything.
Yeah, and I'm
he's like 7 days whack as fuck.
Yeah, so it's like,
oh, look at me now, 7th day, fuck you.
I'm eating beef now.
Yeah. So it's like cool, but it's not.
Yeah.
Like my mom's kind of like, she was more like hurt by that. So it was like I was in a time in my life where I was pretty fucking conflicted.
Is she still 7th day?
Yeah, my whole family's still 7th day. Wow. Yeah, but it was like kind of bittersweet for me the whole way because I'm like, I fucking love what I'm doing, but it's like, it's gonna hurt my family, like, you know, in a weird, unique way where they have to face the fact that like their own friends are gonna be like, wow, you didn't allow him to do that? It's not even that bad.
Mom or dad?
What do you mean? Like, who do I side with?
No.
You know. Don't make me say it.
You're asking me again?
Yeah.
At this time, probably my dad.
Yeah.
I will say though, especially for a lot of the times that like we've happened to, especially Steve, like always chooses to champion like heroes of the Asian American community and stuff like that.
I don't do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do not do that.
Yeah, you do. Ryan played a huge part in like what it was for like an Asian American to go on like a show, represent, whether it be a dance or anything. He was just like the Asian American dude that was there and just killing it and stuff. And it's like, so all you Gold House motherfuckers and stuff like that, you better remember, you know what I mean? Like Ryan did that shit for.
It definitely was like, it was crazy because like I felt like when I was there on the show, I felt like more like I was representing our dance community because so many of them were there at the taping as well, and it felt like, damn, the people, all the other cast members was like, how the fuck you got this many people here? And I was like, I don't know, dude, it's just they roll deep, man. Like, and then as soon as I was out,
Twitch, yeah,
as soon as I was out, I went back to doing shows for the dance community right away. Like and I went back to losing in those shows. Yeah, it was like that's just where my home was. So it was cool to like, I guess like, be one of the first people from our dance community that I guess like got to make a mark on this era of dance TV because it was the first.
First of its kind.
Yeah, it was the first dance TV show that was tapping into the community and pulling people out and being like, oh, like they discovered that there was a whole slew of dancers that were like that talented at just being, I guess, like entertaining. So then they just started. Before you know it, like that show had been on fucking how many seasons? Like 18 or some shit. Yeah, it's just, and we all thought it was over after the first one. They didn't even have a name. Like as soon as that wrapped, like producers were like, "Hey, all right, I'm gonna go back to working for Survivor now. I'm gonna go back to working for whatever, Fear Factor."
Have they ever asked you back?
Yeah, so almost every season until maybe like the 5th or 6th, I came back to do guest spots. Okay. And then I came back with Six Step Crew season 2. That's cool. And then by season 3, that's when Hawk was on, and then Dietrich was on. So every time there was a reason to be back for something, we would come back and do shows with Quest Crew. We came back and did shows with LMFAO when they were big. So that So You Think You Can Dance family, it was very strong, and they're very like good at like. I guess like bringing their people back to to represent. Yeah, really good. So that was
that was pre ABDC, right?
Yeah.
So you think things like that built the whole appetite for a dance show?
I think yeah, it did. I think it really showcased what was out there, and I think it also showcased that there were crews out there because when you have season 1 and I'm there, and then season 3 Hawk's there, and then like every season they're like, oh. They would always go, do you guys got any more people in your crew that want to like try out? Do you guys got any more? They would ask every person who's in your crew because we want more people. And then eventually they got the idea like, why don't we just get crews? Right. So then that's where that went. But the cool thing is that if it wasn't for So You Think You Can Dance, we wouldn't have been so media trained and so like, I guess normalized with TV that by the time ABDC came around, it wasn't like nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it wasn't your first rodeo.
Yeah. So like, just like how Anthony, like we were saying, by the time we did season 8 of ABDC, like Kinjaz was like, man, y'all look real comfortable and shit. How come you guys are all fucking around? Because they were so serious, they're like so like making sure that everything's.
Dude, we were at like the fucking first round interviews and stuff where they do a photo shoot and press, and then we're getting ready to walk into the room to take our crew photo shoot. And these guys are running out, and Dietrich is butt naked, holding his nuts. And we're like,
because they were like posing all nice for the photo. By the time we came on, Dom stripped completely naked.
Because you guys, it's like your first piano recital. And then for you, it's like you guys been playing Vegas for however long and like so seasoned.
And now we're just doing chopsticks to troll. It's like that thing where I think like So You Think You Dance, again, like my whole life has been nothing but crash courses. So where most people might assume like, oh, you prepared like in a timely manner for these things. No, I was dropped in every single thing I did. Dropped in, and it was a fight to survive. So if you guys watch any of this old footage, I'm really nervous. So You Think You Can Dance season 1, I'm fucking stressed all the time, and I look like I haven't slept. And I even just stopped fucking doing my hair because I was like, dude, this is fucking, I don't got time for that shit.
Speaking of doing your hair, I gotta go do mine, so we're gonna be right back. And we're gonna continue with your experience on America's Best Dance Crew, BRB.
After these paid advertisements.
Thank you, Joe.